Hey trainers, Alakaham here with some more Pokemon video magic, and today I'm going to share with you some battles in the Ultra League, being that the Ultra League has recently come back to being available for us here, and not a moment too soon, because I was really struggling with some of the GBL remix in the Great League. So this video is particularly special to me because I have been trying to catch Giratina altered for over a year. I tried to catch it when it was first released. That didn't happen. I played it many times during GoFest 2020 and could not catch it. So I finally was able to catch several. I made some trades with friends to make sure that I got one with IVs that I liked. I poured so much Stardust and candy into it so that I could get a secondary charge move. So I'm really excited to be able to showcase Giratina, which has been my personal white whale for about a year here. So we'll see whether or not this pans out and whether it was worth the effort for me. Okay, so the first person just quit, hit an Empoleon lead, and they were not going to be able to do very much damage to me, so that worked out pretty well. That was actually kind of nice that I just intimidated the first person into quitting, apparently, because of Giratina up front. So that means it's pretty strong. Okay, another metal-type lead. So we are using Giratina versus Melmetal here. They're going to use a Rock Slide. Yeah, Giratina doesn't care about a Rock Slide. I am over farming a lot because I want to be able to get as many of these Shadow Sneaks out as possible, and that is a pretty decent chunk of damage. So we are outpacing them in terms of damage here. You can see that they were already in the yellow, and as we continue to use these Shadow Sneaks, those are actually going to chunk a lot more, especially in combination with Shadow Claw. And they decided to try to switch to make a catch, and for whatever reason they brought in a Swampert that doesn't really help them with Shadow Sneak too much. Now I made a mistake here. I should have shielded this up, but I did not. I was, in my head, I was thinking water type, this will be fine, I'll get a Hydro Cannon, no big deal, and it didn't even occur to me that it might be something else. So, decided to come in here and start farming with Articuno. I maybe could have shielded that. I decided not to. I will shield this one. Yeah, I knew that I could tank one and then hopefully get to the Icy one. At this point, I want to just farm down if I can. Nope, can't do it. So I'm not going to give up the shield. Swampert is going to land that attack. And in comes the Melmetal. So I made a switch back into my big, strong Giratina. And we are going to go for another Dragon Claw because the Melmetal's health is pretty low. And they switch into Articuno. Didn't even see the switch happen. That's really unfortunate. I'm going to go for a Hurricane here. And they decided to shield it up. Maybe I should have baited, I don't know. I was thinking I could probably get to another Hurricane, but I don't know if it KOs after Icy Wind. Nope, does not KO. So that one was a mistake on my part. If I would have just shielded up that Earthquake, I don't think that would have been any big problem. So that's the only major slip-up that I have in this set. So anything else that happens just happened because of the strategies of the players, not because I did something dumb with the team. Okay, here we have Giratina versus the main Mushroom Man from Pokemon Green, Venusaur. That's the one. And it's a pretty good matchup. Everything we do is going to be neutral, and I think everything from the Venusaur is resisted. I'm not 100% sure about poison. Definitely the Frenzy Plants are going to be resisted. You can see that they still did a fair chunk of damage, but definitely not enough for us to be really worried about that at this point. So I think I'm just going to keep taking these attacks and go for the farm down. Yeah, Yep. Shadow Claw is so strong. It is a really great attack. And they bring in an Empoleon. This is really good for us if their best response to Giratina is Empoleon, because Empoleon is not that strong against Giratina. So we've got those Shadow Sneaks running through. They are doing neutral damage. I was going to try and use a Dragon Claw before they fainted us out just to chip some more damage, but that's okay. They won the tie. I can just come in here with Roserade and do some work. So Weather Ball Fire is going to be really great against Empoleon because it does neutral damage. I know that seems wacky because you're going up against a water type, but that Emperor Penguin is also a steel type. So steel takes super effective, water resists, we end up with neutral. They swap in a Gengar. I'm going to call that this is a Shadow Punch, and it is, and that gives me an opportunity to swap into Articuno. I get to the Icy Wind, definitely going to shield this in case it's a Shadow Ball, which it was. Yep, never want to get hit by one of those unless you are resisting it. Okay, so Icy Wind almost completely takes it out. That's pretty good for us, and we were going to be able to even just farm down the Empoleon. So that worked out really nicely too. And Giratina did the bulk of the work on that one. It did, it defeated like a Pokemon and a half. So it's, it was putting in the work. Alright, Giratina versus a Cresselia. This all kind of depends on how people use shields and everything. Shadow Claw is going to do super effective damage, and Shadow Sneak, which charges pretty quickly, will do super effective damage, but Moonblast, as you're about to see, is just going to chunk Giratina. Yeah, so we actually end up in the yellow health zone before they do. But again, we charge faster, and our Shadow Claw damage from the fast move is going to be pretty good. So I'm going to shield this up, and then we can outpace even more if we start going for Dragon Claws, and that's all we really need to do at this point. It's going to be neutral, it's going to chunk a fair amount of health. Can we get to the next one? Yes, okay. Let's go. Getting to that second Dragon Claw before they are able to launch the Moonblast. And, oh, it did not quite KO. They have 1 HP left, and I can't use a final shield on this. So I'm going to come in with Articuno, and hopefully they don't have a hard counter. They have a Charizard. So this isn't necessarily as bad as it seems. This is going to be a Dragon Claw, not too bad. Yeah, and then Ice is actually neutral against Charizard because flying is weak to ice and fire resists it, so that gives us neutral, and then they are debuffed. Yeah, so they were debuffed, and we can use this Icy Wind to either get that shield or KO. We were able to KO, which is great. They have a Swampert, so I'm going to immediately swap into my Roserade, and they did not charge up long enough for this to be anything other than Hydro Cannons. That's fine. I farm up a lot of energy, and, okay, I lied before. This was kind of dumb. Shouldn't have done that. Should have gone straight for the Grass Knot. I knew that was another Hydro Cannon, so that's not too bad. But at this point, the only thing we can really do is try to spam a bunch of these Weather Ball attacks and hope that we can farm down with Articuno. Oh, I still had a shield. Okay, good. Good. Right, so they are out of shields, and those Mud Shots are not doing much damage. So we are able to farm down with Articuno using Icy Shard. And my, that was a close, close game. That'll teach me to use bait moves. I will just go for Grass Knot in a similar situation in the future. Okay, Giratina versus Alolan Muck. This is definitely a lost lead. We do not want anything to do with Alolan Muck. coming in with the Roserade here because we are just going to be able to spam all of these fireballs at the Lowland Muck. Okay, but even though Roserade can eventually outpace, we really don't want to get hit with one of those attacks. Okay, so they decide to switch out, and they actually switch in a way that creates a pretty good situation for us. They shielded the grass knot, so that's good, and I decide I can just go ahead and let it go, because Giratina is going to dominate Empoleon. Shadow Sneaks are going to really chip away damage, and actually we can let Shadow Claw do most of the work here. The best they can do is throw Drill Pecks at us, and those aren't all that threatening to Giratina Altered. So yeah, just gonna go for the Shadow Claws and build up as much energy as possible. Fun fact, you can charge up 3 Dragon Claws before you run out of space for energy and have to cool down. So we're just going to throw all of them, and it's going to do neutral damage to the Muck. I like this situation a lot better than the one where the Muck had a bunch of shields. So we do get the last shield, and I switch into the Articuno, building up a little bit of energy, and they swap into Venusaur, so they did not have a great response to any of my Pokemon here, because Venusaur is going to lose to all 3. They can throw whatever they want at the Articuno, that's fine, especially after they've been debuffed, and I built up enough energy for another Icy Wind, so this is going to be a nice, comfortable KO at the end of that match there. So I think that's 5 matches. I am loving Giratina Altered, and maybe this gives you some ideas for how you might want to use your own if you've never used one before. Again, if you're like me, maybe you have just recently acquired a Giratina Altered for the first time with GoFest going on this past weekend before last, one of those. Anyway, came out recently. Hope you enjoyed seeing the Giratina gameplay. If you haven't done so already, I would appreciate if you gave a like to this video if you enjoyed the content, and if you aren't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe so that I can hear from you more often, and we will keep building our little YouTube community together here. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, trainers.